This is Daily Vlog number 337. And earlier today, a grand jury announced that they would not be indicting a New York City police officer in the choking death of Eric Garner. Protests erupted in New York and in other places around the country. And that's understandable with all of the protests going on still regarding the shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson and the lack of any indictment against the police officer who committed that act. This is a very difficult issue for us as a nation and for me personally to talk about, because I know several police officers. I have two who are dear friends of mine. I have police officers in my family. And so I don't want to come across as insulting police officers in general, because I think there are many fine police officers out there. However, I struggle with the decision announced today regarding the death of Eric Garner. I wasn't there, although I did watch the video of it, and it seemed pretty cut and dry. And I understand that since 1993, the chokehold used to subdue Eric Garner was banned by the New York City Police Department. But I also know that in the heat of the moment, things don't always play out the way they should, and that oftentimes things can be intentional or unintentional, and one may never ever really know the reasons behind it. I'm not trying to make excuses for what the officer did in that situation. I'm just trying to say it's hard for me to form a simple opinion about what happened and why. But I feel like so many people have made simple decisions. And I think that's bad, because I think that cheats us out of thinking more deeply about any instance or any situation, but in particular about ones that are so volatile and polarizing and frankly tragic. We need to think more deeply about these. The climate in our nation is becoming increasingly hostile, not just toward the police from the private citizens, but toward private citizens from all sorts of authorities. This is a frightening time in our nation, but it's not new. And I think that's the most frightening thing of all. I hear people say, I live in America, how could this happen? And yet when we look at our history in America, it's not a rosy, flag-waving love fest. We have had many an instance of national shame in the ways that we have treated people and people groups and races and sexes and orientations and, frankly, the residents who were here before our ancestors got here. I am not speaking against America by any means. What I am saying is that for those who just come to a simple conclusion, you're doing a grave injustice to the human race and to the American people. The thing that bothers me the most about this isn't that it's sparked so many debates, whether well thought out or ignorant. And it's not that we are out there protesting one thing or another, because frankly, I think healthy debate is good. And I think protests are necessary and they are right. No, the thing about this that bothers me the most is that it takes a loss of life to have these deeper conversations. Would we be talking about race issues as passionately if Black people didn't die? Would we be talking about gay rights issues as passionately? Would we be talking about women's issues as passionately? That's what saddens me, is the loss of life, the loss of dignity, and the loss of a sense of security. That's what has to spark us to action. I think we need repentance. Repentance of the racism, of the sexism, of the orientationism, if that's a thing. I think we need repentance of our own pridefulness and our own pig-headedness and our own unwillingness to see another person's side. I think we as a nation need a national day of repentance. I hope that people in authority and under authority would start to be able to see the humanity in each other more and more. That we would see the things that unite us rather than divide us. I pray that no more people have to die to spark these discussions and hopefully lead to change. But I know that's a naive thought. At least that's how I'm feeling today. But right now, I don't see much good happening. But what I do see is people standing up and saying things need to change. And yeah, I think they do. I feel sad for the families of Michael Brown and of Eric Garner. And I also feel bad for the officers involved and their families. It's easy for us to run to the simple explanations, the ones that most likely fuel our already existing biases. But I pray that our nation can reach a point where we move past the simple answers and try to find the healing ones. I don't know if much of this makes sense, but it's what's been on my mind ever since I read the news this afternoon. Let me know in a civilized and respectful manner what your thoughts are in the comments below. This has been Daily Vlog number 337, 28 to go. I'll talk to you tomorrow.